Well, the litigation support team has just notified me that the data has been prepared for me. That means that it's all been imported, it's all been OCR'd, the system files have been identified, and the forensic images have been cracked open and its data indexed. So when I open up my case, I see pretty quickly that there's just a little over 1 million files in here. So I want to get a summary of what's in this content, and I'll quickly see that it's mostly made up of email, that there's a fair amount of just email messages, and there are Office files, primarily made up of Excel, PowerPoint, lots of Excel documents. Not too surprising given the financial nature of this particular litigation. I can also see that the bulk of the content that's been brought in so far is owned by Ken Lay, then a chunk by Jeff Skilling. So now I know who some of the key custodians are in terms of how much content they're bringing in. And now we'll take a look at the domain report. So this is interesting because this tells me for all the custodians who are they communicating with most frequently. I'll just look at the senders list and scan this very quickly for interesting domains. And here's one, Robeck. That's a law firm that this client had worked with, and I could tell you right away that the content here is potentially privileged, so I'm going to tag it as such. And so that content can later on go out to the privilege review team. I see the litigation support team has already calculated all the email threads so that I can browse through them. And I also notice that they've clustered all the content so I can see documents grouped by similarity. This is going to be very helpful for me later on, but right away I know that there are some key terms I want to search on. This is based on my custodian reviews. So UBS and ERCOT, for instance. And I don't need to set a date range because the data has already been filtered that way for me. So I just want to execute this search. And I quickly get back my search results. Here I'm just going to take a look at a summary of my search. And the report shows me that there are about 359 documents out of the 1 million that was responsive to this query. And I can see, for instance, UBS, that term hit 205 times, or hit 205 documents, and of that set there were 86 duplicates. In fact, overall there are 143 duplicates in this result. And I can also see how responsive particular custodians were. So Ken Lay and Jeff Skilling, again, not too surprising for this particular case, but very interesting that Lupai had more of a involvement than Andrew. Well, let's take a look at the data itself. One of the first things I want to do is open up one of the email messages, which causes the document viewer to show up, and you'll notice that the key terms are highlighted, drawing the eye to the terms that I'd searched on. Well, this could in fact be an interesting message. So what I want to do is I want to see this message in its thread. I want to view it in context. And that launches the email thread viewer. I can quickly see that there are 10 messages in here with 19 participants over 2 domains. Just clicking on an individual message allows me to see that message. And I can quickly scan through the email documents, getting to know more about this particular matter. Interesting. In this email, I see that there's news about another party that's gotten involved, APX, willing to contract on a month-to-month basis. This is going to lead me to want to perform some more searches. So I think this is certainly going to be a responsive set, and in fact I want to tag the whole thread. Let folks know why I tag that. And then I'm going to want to perform some additional searches. But actually, having learned quite a bit about the case, more facts from having done some early analysis. I know that there's a series of queries I want to run, and the rest of the legal team had provided some guidance on additional queries. So I'm going to use the bulk search feature and choose my Enron bulk search. And that file had in it these 4 queries. I can tune how I want the search to operate, and I'll click off OK. So Digital Reef will run all of these queries. You can run hundreds and hundreds of queries in the background, and what we'll receive here is a summary of the results. The report for bulk search shows all the queries that I had run and how responsive they were. So we can print this off and hand it off to the rest of the legal team for review and to allow them to start to tune the keyword strategy. To get more in-depth info about a particular query, you can simply double-click on it, and that'll load the query, load that search, and I can browse through the documents. I can open them, view them, and tag them. So from the search report, I'd like to drill into just the documents that were shared rather than the email messages. And here I get the documents, all the documents that were shared back and forth from my APX queries. So I'm going to double-click one of these documents. I see there are about 9 pages, but I know there are some duplicates. I can just see that right in the list. So what I'm going to do is turn on the hide duplicates feature, so I only have to see a document once. And that'll update the list, and now I just have single instances of documents. And right away, this is very simple. I see a document that I know I'm going to need some expert review on California energy law. So I can quickly browse through these and tag the rest. In this mode, when I tag a single document, if it has any duplicates, all the duplicates are then tagged. So that makes it pretty convenient for me to rapidly scan through these documents and make some early analysis and early tags. Well, over time, there will have been a lot more review, and I would have coded and tagged up a few documents here. And so I'm going to ask the review team to export the potentially privileged set so the priv review team can start to get to work on that. And that's all for today. I'll check back in when Lit Support tells me there's more data that's been imported and ready for me to begin analyzing.